What's going on, YouTube world? This is your guy Sealz the Man coming back at you with another one, and you might have noticed something is a little different from my usual videos, right? I'm not standing up, I'm actually sitting down from the comfort of my cozy couch. Sealz, what are you doing? Well, for 2025, I'm gonna get a little bit more creative, a little bit more comfortable. I've been in this game long enough to be able to change, to give y'all the same but yet more valuable information about understanding the mind of men. And in tonight's video, what I'm going to talk about are the mindsets of men in movies and TV shows and anything that's on TV. We're going to talk about the minds of famous actors in famous movies. In tonight's episode, I'm talking about Love Jones, the classic Love Jones starred by Larenz Tate and Nia Long, legends. But specifically, I'm going to talk about Larenz Tate. Now, anyone who has seen this movie knows that he was something else in this movie. But nonetheless, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is why I'm starting with it as my first breakdown of a man's mind from a movie. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is the approach, the science of how a man approaches a woman. And I'm going to break down how he approached Nia Long in this movie. And just to clarify, Larenz Tate's name in this movie is Darius, and Nia Long's name in this movie is Nina. So when I say Darius and Nina, you'll know who I'm talking about. And the first stage of this man's approach is what I call lock-in attraction. Let's get started.
Cool.
White wine, please.
Who's that girl with Darius? Damn.
It does have a little something, something.
Deep in thought, huh?
Yeah,
What are you thinking about?
a woman I saw once.
She must have been fine.
Darius, love her.
Nina Mosman.
Fumble, just like I told you.
Excuse me. Yo, Will, why don't you put this on your tag? Yeah.
That's a fumble. You put the energy on. Anybody in here can see that. Oh, please.
Sorry about that.
Here you go.
Maybe you should quit smoking.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it there. So we're gonna talk about the first stage of his approach was locking in the attraction, locking her in. And what did he do? Did y'all notice any cues that this man had in his approach to Nia? First off, he noticed her. His eyes brightened up like a deer in the headlights. Automatic attraction to her beauty. So now that he has acknowledged that he's attracted to this woman, immediately after that, his brain is going haywire. It's like a mad rush in traffic. It's quick huddle in time. If you watch football, this is like no huddle offense right here. Now he's trying to find a way to break the ice, to start a conversation. But in this case, actually, Nina starts the conversation with him, which I'm gonna be honest with y'all, does not happen a lot. Usually the man is the one who initiates the conversation with a woman he's attracted to, but she does it. So he's like, oh, I can get that out the way now. Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes. The next thing that I noticed that he changed his posture. He got a little bit more straight, and even his friends noticed it. And if you remember, one of his the people at the table said, oh, here he goes with his cool pose. That man knows he got to tighten up now. He got to make sure everything's on point. But the trickiest method to his madness in this moment is when he spills the drink. As his friend said, fumbled the drink. Because now he's trying to pull concern out of her to see how she's going to react to it. Because that further engages the conversation, but it also shows how she reacts under stress. There was a lot at play in this brief moment, and it worked out. All this in a span of 2 to 3 minutes was an initiation, methods to get deeper into this conversation, this new conversation, and he got to know her a little bit more. Pretty interesting first moment. That is his first stage in his approach, locking in the attraction between the two. Now I'm going to talk about the second stage, which I will call pursuit. Because now that he feels like he locked in the attraction, the appropriate next step is to pursue her. And he does it in a very interesting way by using one of his talents.
Monday night, so please give it to Mr. Darius Love Hall.
All right, this is a song I've been working on. It's new. I call it a blues for Nina.
Good old Darius Love Hall. So if you remember, I said the second stage of his approach to this woman was pursuit. And what he did in his pursuit was use his skills as an orator, a poet, and he spoke this very sensual, sexual, descriptive, artistic poem for her. And we know it was for her because he named it after her. If you notice, he called it A Blues for Nina, which is her name. You see, when it comes to men pursuing a woman, he's going to use his best skills. He's going to pull out his best weapons. He's going to use what he has expertise in, what he's comfortable with doing to get her, because he is confident in those things. He doesn't feel like he's going to slip up if he does these things because he has expertise in these things. And in his mind, he's thinking he has a higher probability of attracting this woman in his pursuit by doing these things he's comfortable with doing. The little tidbits that I noticed that he said in his poem was in the beginning where he said, "This is a new piece I've been working on." That's an interesting thing to say, especially when you're pursuing a woman, because it shows how skilled he is to go off the fly and say this fly poem, and he did it with ease. And because he's able to show that he did it with ease, that is another trick to be able to impress her, to show her, yeah, I'm an expert in this thing. I love doing this thing. This is what I do. I'm really good at it. So this is something I just made up off the top of the dome. It's easy like that for me. Now, I do not believe that this was a new poem that he just created off the top of the dome, but because he said that, that was a method to enhance his, I should call, mating call. Especially when he dedicated the name of the poem to her. Now, let's go to the third stage of his approach to Nina, and I will call this stage bait and bite. Because what happens after you pursue something? Just think about this. When a fisherman goes out to fish, in order to pursue the fish, he got to throw some bait out to get the fish to hook onto it so that he may catch it. It's very similar in a man's approach when it comes to him pursuing her. Now it's time for the catch, where I close the deal.
Every last, especially you. You're the worst influence of all.
Oh, don't need to try.
It's from my poem. It was, interesting.
No problem. Everybody, this is Nina.
Hi.
Sheila.
This is my girl Josie. Hello.
So maybe next week you can write something for me.
Maybe, but it won't be about sex.
What's wrong with sex?
There's nothing wrong with sex. There's just other topics.
Like what?
But you probably wouldn't know anything about that. Good night.
Good night. Nice. Well, damn.
Oh man, y'all just witnessed what made this movie so controversial about Darius's character, because it showed so much about how he thinks, what he wants, what he truly desires. Man, that was cringy. And you know what part I'm talking about, right? So after Darius introduced Nina to his friends, if you notice, Darius throws out a line saying, hopefully, or maybe next week, you can write me a poem. Now that was some more bait, because now he's trying to elongate their experience and their moments together. He's trying to make future plans with this woman. He was on track for something. He was trying. He was doing good in that moment, so it seemed. He initiated future communication with her, but he messed up literally right after that. Because clearly Nina is a mature woman. Yet she was impressed by his poem. She knows that it was mostly sexual. And when she told him, you know, there's other topics to talk about than sex, it showed what she desires, which is more than sex. She wants a relationship. She wants connection. She wants to get to know each other. But what showed what Darius was truly desiring, what was on his mind for her, was so evident after he said topics like what? Whether he was being facetious or joking, it fell flat. That was not the right thing to say to a woman you just met and you're trying to attract and lock in and get to know. And it was clearly a mistake, because even the people he was with, his friends and her girlfriend, were like, oh no, what are you doing? Seriously? Like he fell face flat on the ground with that one. That was a total fail. But it showed what he desired. It showed what was on his mind. It showed what he wanted with Nina. And that was the truth. Even though things can be cringy, we can say he said the wrong thing. He said exactly what he wanted to say because that is exactly what was on his mind. The truth is the truth, no matter how it feels. And now that turned her off. The reason why this was an important moment is because they both showed their honest desires for each other and what they wanted for themselves. So Darius threw out the bait in this stage, but he did not get the bite from Nina. The reason why I picked this movie, Love Jones, and I wanted to nail down on this movie is because Darius had one of the most interesting, chaotic, loose approaches that I've ever seen from a man in any movie or show. His approach was also interesting to me because I started to see a lot of me in him in the beginning. He was artistic, I'm artistic. So I started to see myself in him until I started to watch his later developments in his approach. And then that's when I was like, oh, Darius is nothing like me. So I want to ask y'all, have y'all ever been with a Darius? Would you want a man like Darius? Do you like his approach? Do you dislike his approach? So let me know in the comment section below. I'll be doing more of these breakdowns of men and male actors in movies and TV shows, the ones that I see fit in the future. So make sure you subscribe, like, and please comment and tell me what you think. And also in the comment section below, besides telling me what you think about his approach, let me know any other significant male actors in movies and classics that you want me to break down. All right, so thank you for rocking out with me on another Nighttime Edition episode, a special edition one. And I will catch y'all on my next video. Peace and blessings. Good night.